Welcome everyone. After many phone calls and favors, I was finally able to get an interview with Kara Shug, who is the founder of the Casa Dream Team and has been doing real estate for over 20 plus years. Is that true?
It is true.
It's true. All right, so how this is gonna go is I'm gonna interview Kara Shug and we're gonna ask her questions about what it's like, what problems you have, anything that you can think of relating to buying a house for the first time, because it's not something that they teach in schools. So once we get an expert here to talk about it, it would help us out a lot more. Let's get into it. What is a first-time home buyer's first steps when buying a home?
Okay, your very first step is that you want to talk to a realtor. And a realtor is someone who has their finger on the pulse of real estate and what's going on in real estate and how it's working. They will then tell you, okay, where are you at? What are you thinking? They'll ask you a lot of questions. If they're a good realtor, they'll ask you a lot of questions because everybody's needs are absolutely individual, very specialized. Your needs and your wants are going to be completely different than Kristen's are, right? So you want to talk to a realtor who gives you the time that you feel like you need. If you feel rushed by your realtor in the very beginning, you might want to think about getting a different one, right? Because it's a very big deal, especially with your very first house. So your realtor will talk to you and then they will set you up with their preferred lender. And you may want to say, well, why can't I just get my own lender? And you certainly can. However, their preferred lender is going to take better care of you because of the relationship they have with the realtor, right? So our lender, for example, does countless of transactions through Casa Dream Team. A huge part of her income is based on what she does through Casa Dream Team. And so a client of Casa Dream Teams will probably get treated a little bit better than just somebody who's only going to buy one house through that lender.
So your first step is to talk to a realtor, which is a low investment, low commitment thing to do, correct? You can,
very low.
If you don't like that realtor, you can easily find someone else.
Absolutely. Okay. And so thank you for asking that very specific question, Ben, because a lot of times realtors will try to get you to sign what's called a buyer's broker agreement on the very first time they meet you. And they've got good reasons for that. There are good reasons. I want to speak on both sides of that. The reason is people think, the public, I think, believes that realtors get paid to go show homes. And that's not the truth. They don't. So if you're going to spend a day with a realtor looking at homes and you're just doing it because it's an interesting thing to do, let's go look at homes, that'll be fun. That's really not cool because that's their job, right? And they won't make it, they don't have an opportunity to make a living because they just spent the day spending all their time and effort. And it's not just the time they show you the homes, it's all the research they do before. So that's why realtors will want you to sign a buyer broker agreement. My advice to you is you do not sign one until you feel completely comfortable that that realtor truly has your best interest at heart.
Okay, so you have time to feel out the realtor and feel out your situation. Low commitment right off the bat. You said they introduce you to their preferred lender.
Correct.
So that's the next step.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens next?
Okay, so the preferred lender will do either usually a soft pull at first of your credit. The reason that they do a soft pull is so that it doesn't impact your credit. So there is false information out there that if you go to 5 different lenders to shop those lenders, that it's going to hurt your credit score because you're going to have 5 dings on your credit score, and that's not true. You have 30 days from the first time you get one, and that counts as one. So you could have 20 if you wanted to go that far, and they would pull your credit 20 times, and it counts as one.
As long as you do it within that 30 days?
As long as you do it within the 30 days.
It's a helpful tip to know.
It is helpful, and you know, you do need to shop. There's a lot to look at when you're looking at your lender. The 2 most important players in your real estate career of purchasing real estate, the 2 most important players are going to be your realtor and your lender. Those are the 2. There can be up to 28 different professionals involved in the sale of any one house. So
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And so your realtor is kind of the conductor to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as it possibly can. There's a lot of people involved and they can't control everything. However, if you use your realtor's preferred lender, they have a lot more pull to be able to make sure that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And it's also really nice if your realtor can walk into the lender's office, walk in and say, hey, how's it going? Face to face. Instead of getting a lender that's, ABC lending online, which if there is one, I apologize, I don't know about it, but instead of going with someone where your realtor can't have a face-to-face conversation, it's very helpful.
So those are the two most important players, and it's better if they work well with each other. And just so you guys know, anyone on the Casa Dream Team, any realtor is going to be a good realtor if you're worried about that and you live in this area. But you can also, if you don't live in the Albuquerque, New Mexico area, realtors like the ones on Casa Dream Team can find you other good realtors for wherever you're at. So let's say you live in Oregon, they can refer you to good realtors out there. Just something to note.
So the thing about when you pick the right realtor or the right travel agent or whoever, what they provide really that almost no one ever talks about, with the value of Casa Dream Team, is the relationships that we have. So just think about it in your own life. If you need something done and you call so-and-so and you just know so-and-so always has your back, that's the value that you're getting. That's a huge piece of the value, is picking the right realtor who has the right relationships, who can get you everything that you need all the way down to the point where you're in your house and you need somebody to come work on the furnace. You can call your realtor back, and your realtor knows a lot of furnace people because we're in the housing business.
Exactly. Yeah, it's more about who you know than what you know in life. Let's, in this hypothetical scenario, you talk to a realtor, you find a good one you like, they have a preferred lender that you also talk to, and things seem to be going smoothly. Then I would imagine what's next is you start looking for houses.
Well, you get pre-approved through the lender. So the lender will pre-approve you. It is very important, and please understand why. Because let me tell you, if I walked into Dillard's and the lady walked up to me and I said, well, I'm looking for X. And she said, well, can I please see your credit card? I want to make sure you have enough money on your credit card to afford to buy X. I would be highly offended. The reason that realtors really insist, and in these days we really do, we have to, that you are pre-approved, is because we don't, let's say for example that you want a house that's $400,000, and we go out and we're looking at $400,000 houses, and you find the one, and then we go to the lender and the lender says you're pre-approved for $350,000. How's that going to feel after you've been looking at $400,000 houses to now go start looking at $350,000? You're just...
Now you can't afford it, the one you wanted. So get pre-approved first so you know your range and what you should be looking at, correct?
Exactly, right.
Cool. Okay, get pre-approved and then start looking?
One more thing on this.
Okay, we're almost there.
One more thing, we're almost there. One of the biggest reasons that you want to be pre-approved before you go looking for homes is because in this current climate, you're a lot of times going to be competing against another offer, right? So we've got super limited inventory right now, and you might be competing against another offer. So if you go through our lender, and we know this, we have our people go through what's called a platinum approval, and so they go through underwriting in advance. So basically all we really need are the inspections and the appraisal to be able to close, and that's huge. So if you're a seller, I just want you to think about this. This is your home and you have two offers, and one of the offers has an approval and they want to close in 45 days, and the other one has a platinum approval, which means there's no way it's going to get kicked out of underwriting.
Okay.
And they can close in 2 weeks. Which one looks better to you?
I mean, all other factors remaining the same, platinum would be the choice.
Right.
And the easy choice. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right, and so that's what you get when you work with Casa Dream Team, is you get a team of people who have made enough mistakes that we don't make that mistake again. And so we learn a way to get around it. So yes, you want to get approved, you want to get a platinum approval, and now you're ready to get in the car and start looking.
Now you can start looking for houses. Mm-hmm. Next step in the hypothetical scenario, we're looking for houses. We find a few that we're interested in. Now what?
So now we do the what's called a cost market analysis on the house. We make sure that just because a house is priced at $400,000 does not mean that it's actually worth $400,000. There is nothing that keeps you from a seller. Let's say that you have a house that's truly worth $400,000. There's nothing that keeps you as a seller from putting it on the market for $500,000. So your buyer's broker, the person who's watching out for you, is going to make sure that you're not going to offer too much for the house.
Okay.
So they'll do what's called a cost market analysis, and they'll say, okay, according to my cost market analysis, and they'll explain it all to you as much as you want to know. And that's the thing. Sometimes you don't want to know. We're kind of dorks when it comes to it. And we want to teach you everything, and you might not care. So we will gauge that. We will tell whether or not what we're saying is interesting to you or not. And we'll ask you, do you want to know all the details? And some people are, oh, yes, tell me everything. How did you come to this? And how did you come to that? And we love that. And we also love when people say, look, that's what I'm paying you for. Just tell me the bottom line, right?
Yeah, but if you want to know, it's okay to ask whenever.
Oh gosh,
Right?
there are no stupid questions unless you don't ask them, right? And so that's something, thank you again. Communication is everything, literally everything. If we don't have good communication with you as our buyer or as our seller, then we're going to have a very difficult time leading you to your goals, what your stated goals are. We are not trying to determine what you should or should not do. We're going to ask you very clearly, what are your goals? Make sure that this is what you want. And then we're going to help lead you and get you there. And I have to tell you, sometimes it's very emotional buying and selling homes. And you might not think that you're going to get emotional. You might think, oh, no problem, I'm just going to buy a home. And what we ask is that you allow us to be the business head that brings you back to center when you kind of get offline. We'll ask you that while you're in a good state. And then when you get all upset about something, I literally had clients who were almost homeless over $50 because of the principle of the thing. And so it does get emotional, and we lead you through that as well.
Okay. So if you ever have questions, ask them. So you find out that the property is worth what they say it's worth, and it's within your approval budget. Now you write an offer, I'm guessing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And the offer is 21 pages long just for the offer. That does not include the seller's disclosure or any of the other disclosures. So it's a process. We'll guide you through it. And then we do what we call, again, the net out. We talked about, we did the net out. We do a net out so that you understand what your full total costs are. Does that make sense? Because there's other costs involved.
Such as
the title company, the FedEx fees if you're closing in a different state.
Do these include like appraisals? Okay.
All of those.
Okay, so as a buyer, how much money would I have to bring to a deal to get it to close?
Very good question. And I think there's a misconception out there. I think a lot of people think that they have to have like 20% down to be able to even think about looking. And guys, it's not true. There are all kinds of programs out there. Our preferred lender right now has a program where it's zero. You don't have to put any down payment down. You will have to have some money to close. And a zero down payment, it depends on the price of the home, but you could be in a home for less than you pay in rent probably.
You need some money with 0% down for closing costs, you said, but you probably don't need as much as you think, so it's smart to at least ask.
It's very smart. Yes, absolutely. Gosh, it's amazing. People don't do it because they don't know. I've had 2 people on the podcast, and maybe you could link this too. 2 different people on the podcast that bought their first homes when they were 20 years old. And 20-year-olds think, I can't buy a home. There's no way I could buy a home. How could I buy? There's ways, guys. There are ways, and there are also ways. I want to tell you, when you have a really savvy real estate team like Casa Dream Team, even if you don't have 2 years worth of work history, which is pretty required, even if you don't have that, there are ways that you could do real estate contracts. In other words, the seller would carry the note for you. It's amazing what you can do, and the longer someone has been doing something, like doing it well, the more tips and tricks that they know to help get you what it is you're looking for.
And it all starts with that first step of just calling and finding a realtor. And if you find a good one, they will never be mad at you for just asking. It's a low commitment thing, especially, I'm sure we can vouch for everyone on the Casa Dream Team that they won't get mad at you if you call just because you have a few questions.
Yeah, not only will we not be mad at you, we would love it. We would love it because that's the thing. When you get educated, you absolutely will figure out that I have to do everything possible to get in my first home. Just to sell you on buying a home and being a homeowner, I want you to really think about these numbers, okay? I mean, really, really, really think about them. The average net worth of a homeowner is $255,000. Think about that number.
255,000.
Hang on to that number in your head.
Got
That's
it.
your number. The net worth of the average renter is 6,000.
6,000. So that's what, 40 times less? All right, so we just crunched the numbers, and that is about a homeowner has on average about 42 times more net worth than a renter. 42 times. 6,000 to 255,000?
255,000.
That's a big deal. That is a difference between vacationing in Hawaii when you're retired and, not.
If you don't do it and you get yourself in a bind, if you get yourself in a bind and you have $255,000 in net worth, you can get what's called a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit, and you can go take care of your aunt or somebody that needs help or whatever, right? If you have $6,000 in net worth, you can't take care of yourself.
And it is important to check your sources of information, but I can personally tell you that the realtors that are telling you to buy houses because it's just an amazing financial decision are buying houses themselves. Most of the realtors currently on the Casa Dream Team have not only one but multiple properties. So they are practicing what they preach. Anything else, any last pieces of advice you would like to give to the audience? First-time home buyers?
First-time home buyers, guys, please don't be scared. There's something that's blocking you from it, and whatever it is, there's this disease, and it's called the analysis paralysis, and you really get paralyzed by thinking way too much. Don't think so much. Home ownership is over 90% of self-made millionaires in America did so through real estate. So if you do one house that's 255,000 is your net worth and the renters is 6,000, does that mean if you have two houses it's going to be over 500,000 compared to 12,000? Probably, right? That's what makes your net worth go up is real estate. So really think about it. Don't be scared. Give us a call. We're pretty fun to hang out with.